Woo! Speedy McSpeedster, baby. That's what we in the business call a hello. I wish more large debaters would go do this topic as well. Okay, since we restarted the live, all the likes are off. So all that hard work you did, I'm sorry. It's just gonna have to add up here. So send likes. Smash that like button. Boom. If you disagree with me, send a guest request. If you agree with me, send likes and share it with people that you think disagree with me or agree with me. Thank you so much for the person sending a gift. Thank you so much for everyone joining. I don't know who I just sent an invite to. I didn't mean to do that. So I'm gonna kick you once you get on, if you do. Cool. Keep on sending likes. Loki missed my lives. I Loki missed my lives too. I would like to be able to do them more consistently. Um, we'll see if I can. We'll see if I can. Thank you, Marmar, for being such a slay person. Thank you so much for everyone sending likes. I don't know why there's no viewership right now, bro. Maybe it's not the best timing. You know, it's a good day when Will goes live. Thank you. How was the travel back to the US? A little bumpy, but it was fine. We lived. Send a guest request if you disagree with me. Oh my gosh, this is nothing. Can you repeat what you said you were studying? I'm studying law. Oh, Parker has 5K right now, bro. I did get a Parker raid last time. That's annoying. Love Parker. Also, there are certainly more than 5K people in this community. Parker's doing wild stuff. Yeah, I wish I had like the time and dedication that Parker did. Um, but I don't. Um, anyway, I can certainly spare like a K. Can you get a K on here? If this is a smaller live, it's a smaller live. Yeah, he's crazy consistent. I don't know how he does it. No, 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 Mick, don't go into Parker's live and ask if he has 5K. Don't mess with that. Oh, thank you so much, Queens. Person who said they look up to me. If you saw me in real life, you wouldn't because I'm about 5'5". Marmar, what you doing? Queen. What's the point of the UN if the UN? You're all good. You're all good. Oh my. Well, you know what I recently learned about online Tinder. Okay, let's see if we can get a guest request. We hear me cook. I'd love to cook. It is dead. It is DED dead. Y'all see my YouTube though? What I can, well, I can just kind of chat for a second. Y'all see my YouTube? TikTok doesn't kick you. You don't need to show face. Okay, intriguing. Israel lobby's huge. Yes, it is. It got my congressperson, who's generally pretty progressive, but the AI pack paid for him. So he couldn't say anything, which was really annoying. But also, just so everyone knows, I do upload most of these to YouTube. All of my Israel ones, I have on YouTube. If there's a unanimous vote affirming the UN resolution for a ceasefire, would Israel stop? Probably not, unless they put in ground troops. So the UN has the ability to put in peacekeepers, but Israel has killed peacekeepers before. What would be really interesting is if they vote unanimously, it would effectively become a war between all of the UN and Israel. Do we see how that would be? Right? All of the UN and Israel. That would be insane. Okay. So what we're going to do is okay, we're boosting in viewership again. Guys, we support Palestine here. Pro-Palestinian liberation. So if you disagree, send a guest request. In a sane world, there would be complete opposition against Israel, absolutely. Lebanon is about done with. Yeah. So here's the thing about Israel and the UN. Is Israel has unalived peacekeepers before in Lebanon, right? Peacekeepers were sent into Lebanon to work against Hezbollah, which Israel's claiming to also work against Hezbollah. But then Israel, in attacking Hezbollah, unalived peacekeepers trying to attack Hezbollah as well. Can you imagine? Isn't that like insane? Yeah, no. So Israel really doesn't like the UN, um, but sucks for them. And doesn't follow the UN either. They should leave at this point, quite honestly. Keep on sending likes. We're boosting in viewership. If we can get a disagreeer on here, at least one, that would be really lovely because I do have limited time today. So if we can get someone who disagrees to send a guest request, that would be great. Yeah, the UN did establish. Israel literally claims their legitimacy from UN proposal, which is hilarious. Right. I love talking to Zionists where they go, look, Israel at least is a recognized state. Well, no, it's not. Not if it doesn't follow international law. So if you don't recognize following international law doesn't legitimize you. It's obviously absurd. And yeah, the UN did make Israel in 1948. They failed Bosnia and sent, yep. What's my background? Send a guest request if you disagree with this. So basically, if you want the US to stop funding Israel, if you think the US should continue funding Israel, do that. Send a guest request. Who is that? J-N. I don't think I do. Why? Okay, let's see. Send a guest request. Arrogant know-it-all. Maybe just know-it-all. Hello.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Durua, what did you send a guest request to disagree on?
Um, I don't know if I disagree, but I just know that the U.S. can't be like strategically from their side. They can't like be seen looking weak in the world stage. You got me? Like in front of Russia, China, they look, they know, they test the waters. Like Venezuela's going for Guyana. Like everyone is eyeing up the United States.
Do
And
you
they,
think America looks weak right now?
yeah, 100%, way weak since Afghanistan. Very
Yeah,
weak.
exactly. So their support of Israel is showing their weakness because
No,
they're not
no,
able to
it's
control their allies.
no. They need it. They need Israel there specifically. They need Israel. Of course, they need Israel.
I disagree they need Israel, and I disagree that America's national interests are my interests.
Okay,
I
but
disagree that we should
could
support
you?
war crimes for our national interests by and large.
Okay, so you're more isolationist. Would you like
On this
an
issue,
I?
at the very least, I'm anti-war crime.
Okay, but at this issue at least, but name one war that there hasn't been a war crime.
None, but I can condemn war crimes still. There have
Okay,
been
yeah,
exponentially
of course.
fewer in the vast majority of wars within the past 30 years. It's very obvious that the actions of the IDF are completely throwing off any semblance of like agreement with international law. And
Yeah,
the whole entire foundation of Israel is based on international law. So for
Okay.
them to do this is to delegitimize themselves. So all I'm saying is we should do what they're doing to themselves and delegitimize them.
Yeah, I'm not gonna defend the war crimes. I know that happens. I know that happens. I'm conscious of that. But it's inevitable. There are war crimes that happen even.
It's not inevitable. It's not inevitable.
I mean, there's it's very limited what you can avoid.
It's not very limited. It's actually pretty clear. The
It
point
can
is
be
that war
clear.
crimes
It
don't
can be
actually
clear.
help you
It
win
can
the
be clear.
war. The
It can
point
be
is that
clear.
they are terrorist actions. Killing
Yeah,
civilians is a terrorist action. It doesn't help
yeah,
you win the war.
yeah.
That's the
That's true.
point.
But historically, both sides have been doing it, and I'm not gonna say it's right.
Yeah, but we're
It's-
funding one of those sides.
Okay, and Iran is funding the
So we
other
should
side.
stop funding if you commit war crimes. And the thing is if we're going to talk about this, I don't understand how Israel can claim to be a valid state while it commits war crimes. How can it, as a valid state, claim to exist on the basis of international law if it's simply going to throw it out? Right? What are you defending here? Why do you support Israel in the way you do?
The way I do personally.
Mm-hmm.
You're asking me personally.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say I defend it. It's just that I know history, man, and I personally believe that Palestine today, what they own, like their territory, like Gaza, yeah, they have basically Gaza. It's all
And the
fall.
West Bank, portions of the West Bank.
Okay, yeah, whatever. Include those as well. What happened to them because they had more territory? What happened to them is thanks to the other Arab states.
Intriguing.
And and
Uh,
you and you if you know it's like how many states against Israel? How many?
how many states supported Israel?
Okay, but how many states directly send their militaries in there?
And how many states directly send military funding, military operations, have a direct intelligence integration with Israel?
Okay, yeah. We
Many.
I
my
mean, yeah, exactly. So if you want to make like your argument is just number big, right? Like you see how your argument is literally just like number big.
no, it's not
It's
just
totally like it's
it's
such a
not
brain
just
dead argument.
armor big. Just
So the
that.
point is more
Okay,
states doesn't mean more powerful
how
by
no?
and large. If America is backing you,
How
right?
many
If America and the West is backing you, there could be 10 impoverished states.
How
There could be
many?
20 impoverished states,
They
right?
were
They're
all
not going to beat
fucked.
America.
Okay, but how many state like not number big, but
Returns to number big argument.
okay,
Guys,
okay.
look, number big. Let's talk about the big number, which is the billions and billions of dollars that America sends to Israel directly and indirectly through covert propaganda operations by the CIA and direct, explicit. Um,
It's in our interest to do
Okay,
so.
but you
I
you
disagree that
can't
it's in our
you
interest to
can't
do so, and
It
I
is in
disagree
our
that our
interest
interests are
to
yeah,
the
do
only thing that
so.
acknowledge
matter in the world.
atrocities.
I'd love to hear
Israel
Trace
is
for a
the
second.
only
Yeah?
democracy in the Middle East. No other Arab country, none, not one, will take or help any of them. They don't want to run it. Saudi
That's
Arabia
totally
has
untrue.
declared that the imam can't even pray for the Palestinians. You need to go and see what other Arab countries say about that. You're not looking
What
at
does
everything.
Iran say about Palestine?
They go, well, we would we can't allow any help here because they need to stand for their own selves. That's what they
Iran
all
doesn't send
say.
any
They
help
don't
to
want them
Palestine?
there.
Iran doesn't send any help to Palestine?
Dude, they are sending terrorists and military AKs and rockets to
Yeah,
them. But on
correct.
paper, they say no. We don't support them. They can't come here. We're not going to help them run their country. And
Is it
guess
your
what?
view that
Saudi
Palestinians have never been
Arabia,
allowed in?
Lebanon, Jordan, and Egypt don't want Saudi Arabia there. They don't want, or Iran there. They don't want Iran there. They don't. You're not. These people are all fighting amongst each other. You don't even know. They don't want them there.
I don't think I've been able to show what I know.
Why do you
But
condemn
show me what
them
you
like
know. What war
influencing?
crime has been committed?
The use of
Why
white phosphorus.
why do you like condemn
Oh,
the United
armies
States
use that.
supporting them? so like supporting
Confused.
one side when the other side is supported by Iran or Russia or China or whatever. Why do you condemn the funding of proxies if the other side does it as well?
Wait, I condemn the funding across the board of proxies. The only control I have is over one side because, newsflash, it's my taxes and it's my
You
country.
don't have any
Hey,
control.
but
You don't.
you should go. You should
You
you
don't have
should
any
we should go
control.
for
Well, look, I'm a
president.
constituent. If you
We
don't think
should go
it's,
for
if you, one
president.
second, the thing is, if you don't think I have any control, which I agree practically, I have no control, but
Yeah,
in my view, we're a democracy. And you
exactly.
pretend to care about democracy. So I, as a constituent, I, as a citizen, I, as a tax-paying member of the society, am going to voice my opinion and think it matters. If you don't think that the citizens' voices matter, we can have that discussion sideways. But
No, I do
importantly,
think
you
citizen
did the
voice
classic
matters. But what you're
utter, one
saying
second, one
doesn't
second,
at
one
this
second,
moment.
one second, because what you said is utterly nonsense. Let's say you said that Israel was the only democracy in the Middle East,
It
right?
is.
Not entirely true. Egypt is
Okay,
closer to
so name
democracy,
me another
but
democracy.
No,
Egypt is
no,
closer to a democracy. But
You said
secondarily,
closer, but
democracy.
is
one
it a
second, one
democracy?
second. It doesn't. That is
It's
just virtue signaling.
closer. It
One
has
second.
aspects of it, but no, it's not.
Also, one
Egypt
second.
has military rule.
Yes, you
One
don't
second,
know what
brother.
you're talking about.
One second, brother. The other part is it is just virtue signaling. Being a democracy does not allow you to commit a genocide.
That's 100%.
Being a democracy does
What
not allow you to
genocide has
violate
been?
international law
What's being What genocide is being committed?
against the Palestinians unilaterally.
Listen. Let me tell you something. What numbers are you getting? Where you get those numbers
Do you
from? The
know?
UN?
Okay, can you describe?
So those numbers that are given to the UN are given by the Hamas government. Listen to me,
Okay, no,
and
what
they
number? Where
break
are
them
you getting
down.
your
Listen
numbers?
to me, and they break them down.
I don't care about this. Where are you getting your numbers?
Listen to me. Listen for a second, because I just
answer my question. No. I won't.
I'm getting them the
Answer my
same
question
place.
first.
I haven't given you a number yet. So will you
I haven't
listen?
given you a number either.
You did
So
earlier. You said, "Oh, there's 10,000 citizens are being killed or whatever." You
No, I
are.
didn't. That's wait. No. Once again, I'm not going to let you talk if you just lie. I
Okay.
don't think I did.
So what
Did I give
number
a
did you
number?
quote then? When I first came in this live, you were quoting a number about civilians being killed. Yes, you did.
I think I said hundreds of thousands
Okay,
of
so here,
civilians have existed in Palestine. I don't think I did give a number. I don't remember that happening.
where is your term genocide coming from? What?
The actions against the Nakba refugees is a form of genocide.
So did you know that Nakba or whatever you're talking about, they left themselves. Israel did not force them to leave. And as a matter of fact, when they got in Jordan had to kill a bunch of them. Go read some stuff. They don't
So
want them
then
in
why
there.
is it the opinion of the international community that they have the right of return?
What international
So
community has the what?
the ICJ has ruled that they have the right of return.
Because they don't want them in their countries.
Do you know what the ICJ is?
Oh my God. But
Do you
you
know what
don't
the ICJ
understand.
is?
They don't want them in their
Do
countries.
you know
That's
what
why
the
Egypt
ICJ
has
is?
closed its borders.
Do you know what the ICJ
I
is?
want you to tell me.
You don't know what it is?
I want you to tell me.
Okay. I have a girlfriend at another school. The point is that the UN consistently, and its instruments, such as the ICJ, consistently has made clear that the International Human Rights Charter recognizes the right to return for people forcefully taken out of their homes and hereditary lands, like happened in the Nakba, either due to the Arab nations or due to Israel's of aggression in that case. Both
Great.
of them who
So
displaced
you
people.
agree,
So
then
they
the
were
Israelis
displaced.
can come. Even the Azenaki Jews, they can come because they were
The
forcibly
what Jews?
removed from the
Which
Romans.
Jews? One second. Which Jews?
So if you're saying that, then the Jews.
Sorry, 1 second. What type of Jew?
The Azenaki. Did I pronounce?
The Azanaki Jews?
What are they? Pronounce it for me.
No, we can go with Azanaki.
Just pronounce it. If you know better, just say it. I'm not offended.
I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued on your background on this issue. Ashkenazi.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
So
So let's talk
they
about your
were
background on this issue.
expelled
You
by
came
the
up here
Romans.
accusing me of, but this is interesting.
They were
You came up
expelled by the Romans, but they can't come back. Can all the How about all the Romans that had Constantinople? Can we just say, hey, we were here first, then you guys came and made it Istanbul. We have a right to be there. Your argument is invalid. It's
So
invalid.
you think the right of return is invalid?
I'm saying if that is true, then the Jews get to come back. And so do all
Did
the
I ever say
Romans
the
that
Jews
used to
couldn't
live
come
in
back?
Turkey when it wasn't
Wait, one
Turkey.
second. Sorry, one second. Sorry. Did I ever say that Jewish people couldn't come back to that land?
No, what you're saying is that they have a right to return. The Palestinians, you're saying, have a right
Did
to
I
return.
say that the Jews didn't have a right to return?
But I'm correcting you to make sure that you include them, that they have a right.
So why don't you ask me a question about my position?
I'm trying to help you broaden your
But no,
perspective.
no, no. You don't know what my perspective is because you're assuming that I don't think that Jews have a right to be there.
Then say it. Say it.
No, but
Describe.
I'm not just going to state every single one of my opinions ever.
Oh, well,
Ask
you
me
just
if you want to
asked
know,
me to
brother.
ask you. So I asked you. You asked me to ask you. So I asked you. Will you
Cool. Yeah,
state?
I think Jews have a right to be there.
Will you state your opinion on that?
I just did. I think Jews have a right to be there.
Okay, great. Do they have a right to return? Even the Eastern Jews from Eastern Europe, Jews that
Yeah,
are in South America, can anyone that
by and
claims
large,
they're a
yeah.
Jew, can they come
No,
there?
not all. So not all Jews.
Why?
Just
What
people
makes it?
that have. Well, like this is interesting. The term "what makes someone Jewish" is very complicated. The qualification I would say is that if you have a hereditary um, claim to the land, right?
Okay.
So that's it. So a lot of Jewish people do have hereditary claims to the land. The difficulty is in definition of what makes someone a Jew. There gets a lot of theology into that question, and I don't think that theology or religion or mythos should affect your rights to land, right? I don't think that's how land law works.
Perfect.
Um, cool.
So let me ask
What's
you.
interesting is Israel does not actualize that. Israel recognizes converts as having right to the land, and that is complete and utter nonsense. Israel is an ethnic theocracy, right? And I don't support ethnostates and I don't support theocracies.
Okay, so they're a democracy. So let me ask you a question. Do you know how
Did you
many
hear the words I said? I
Arab?
said they were a theocracy.
Right. Do you know how many Arab um, Palestinians, if that's what you want to call them, because there was no Palestine until the British Mandate. It didn't exist.
It's not
But
true.
so if you
That place was
do you
termed
know how
Palestine
many
under the
Arab
Ottomans.
Palestinians
No,
were
wait,
in
I'm
that
going to
region?
correct you when you're wrong. That's not true.
Okay.
That area was termed Palestine under the Ottomans. It was termed Palestine under the Romans. So no.
Romans named it Syria Palestine to make the Israelis mad
So what
because
you
that
said
the
was
Philistines were their
incorrect.
big enemy.
So,
It
well,
wasn't named
that's not
Palestine.
entirely a true thing either. But secondarily, so what you said was incorrect. There was a Palestine prior.
What? They were called Philistines, were the big enemy of the Jews, and so the Romans didn't get it right, and they called it Syria Palestine.
So it was called Palestine prior to the British Mandate,
When the Romans called it, you just said that.
and so the Ottomans also called it Palestine.
Okay, so it was the Levant and I've never seen anything about the Ottomans calling it Palestine. Was that official?
They refer to it as Palestine as an
Right, but
area.
was it official? Like this region is Palestine, or these are
I don't know
Palestinian?
if this state was called Palestine at the time, but the region was referred
Yeah,
to as
there wasn't a
Palestine
state
consistently
called
throughout the
Palestine.
time.
So
Well, no,
here's
because it was a member of the state, brother. Like it was a member
so
of the Ottoman Empire, but they did refer to it as Palestine. We could get up an official like subdivision of it, right?
well,
But the Levant is the entire region. The Levant includes
exactly.
Lebanon, but that's not like the Levant includes a lot of things. The Levant includes like parts of Syria, Lebanon. I believe it goes down to the Sinai. But
Exactly.
so
Okay.
no, it wasn't called the Levant.
It's the Levant region. I didn't say it was called the Levant. Okay, so the other thing is, so do you
Are you
know
still
how
there?
many Arab
Okay.
Palestinians were there before the British Mandate came in? Do you?
Not by
Hello?
number, no. Also, are you
No.
talking 1908?
I'm talking before the British Mandate, yes.
So do you know the date for that?
Anytime before 1914 or 1917, when was it? Do you know?
Roughly, yeah.
I know the number. There was 200,000 Arabs there.
200,000 Arabs.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. And what was the population of the world at the time?
Exactly. There's not that many. But do you know why the population grew so extensively from that time until 1930s and 40s? Do you know what grew
For
the
basically the
Arab?
same reasons that every other part of the world grew in population at that
No,
time.
it's because the British put in public works and all the Arabs flooded from Egypt and Jordan and Syria to come work there. So they're not all from there. So when they claim they're
But once again, what
Palestinian,
are your
they can't
arguments being
they
made
can't
here?
claim it. They're Egyptian and they're Jordan and they're from Lebanon and
I mean,
Syria. They
I've
flooded
never
there.
heard this claim, but secondarily, you're
Well, go
arguing
read
against
it.
no
It's
one.
all go read about it. It's
Read
public
it
works.
where?
Go on the internet and Google it and go
Google
watch some
what?
documentaries. So they weren't there. All these Arabs that claim they're Palestinians are
But
from
okay, one
Egypt.
second, Trace.
They're from Egypt
Can we just
and
slow down
Lebanon.
here for a sec? Can we just slow down here for a second?
They're not even from there, though, is what I'm
One
saying.
second, Trace. I heard you the first four times you said it. Do you think I missed you the first time you said it?
Oh God, he's full of
I
himself.
don't.
So correct me. Correct me then.
No, Trace. Do you think I didn't hear you the
I
first time?
do. I think you weren't listening. I do. I think you
Why?
weren't
Okay, then this is an interpersonal problem. Why do you think I wasn't listening?
because you keep talking over and you aren't recognizing
I'm not recognizing that I'm talking over.
that you're not recognizing that you talk over me and that you're not
I
recognizing
talk over you.
that the Arab population exploded when the British got there. There were only 200,000 Arabs in that
I actually
region.
did directly respond to that claim.
I can't hear you then.
Okay, Trace. So let's start from where we should start, which
Okay.
is what is the argument here?
So
Okay.
what we were originally
Well,
talking
if you're going to complain
was
about
war
me talking
crime.
over
I
you,
thought
what
that
do
was
we
what we
not
were
do?
originally talking about was war crime.
Okay.
And so
Do
I
you
asked
recognize
you,
that Israel has committed war crimes against the Palestinians?
do you?
I
Do
think I've
you?
already answered that.
So
Did
you
you not hear my
recognize
answer to that the
you're
first time?
saying that they committed a war crime. My answer is what is your proof?
So Amnesty International released a report clearly stating there are many, 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 many war crimes committed against the Palestinians, including but not limited to an illegal occupation constituted up until 2006, a illegal blockade after 2012, right, consistent illegal occupation of the post 1967 borders, and most recently the use of white phosphorus, the forced mass exodus, the forced brutalization of children and women, the illegal taking of hostages under the guise of political prisoners, the failure of due process of them within military courts of Israel, the
Yes,
illegal settlements within the West Bank as in violation of the Oslo Accords,
yes, that
the
is
consistent unaliving of UN and peacekeeper troops both within Lebanon and then with UN and reporters within Gaza Strip. So the killing of reporters is a war crime. The killing of UN peacekeepers is a war crime. The use of white phosphorus is a war crime. The unilateral targeting of residential areas is a war crime. The attack on a refugee camp and on hospitals are war crimes.
so do you know also what exempts you from that? That
What
you
exempts you from
if
war
there
crimes?
are combatants and military in hospitals, yes, they do. You can. We go after them. So does the Russians. The Russians bombed a hospital because
And
there's
so what have
military in there.
so this is really interesting. What have the independent reviewers of that claim said about the claim that there were militants in, for example, the hospitals?
Well, we found the tunnels and we found a hostage
Mm-mm.
right
What did the
outside.
UN say about that claim?
I have no idea what the UN says about it. The UN only repeats what Hamas tells them, and we know. Do you agree that Hamas is a terroristic government organization?
I do. So is the IDF. Um,
Okay,
so
so you
what?
know that they lie then, that they're
And I know
terrorists.
that the IDF lies,
I asked you about Hamas. Do
and
you
I've
believe
answered
that they
you on
lie?
Hamas. Yeah, absolutely, and so does the IDF.
Okay, so you know that Hamas lies. You agree that they lie, right? They're
And
reporting all these numbers. And let me ask you another question. Are only combatants men or can combatants be women?
Combatants can absolutely be women. So let me ask you a
Let
question,
me ask you
Tracy.
a question. I'm not
No,
done.
I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna give you a third, baby.
Can combatants be
So that's.
children?
Oh, oh,
Can combatants be children?
yeah. Some can.
Yes, they can. You're exactly right. And so when Hamas reports its numbers, if you'll look and see what the UN and what Hamas has reported today, they separate it into groups. They call it civilians, old people, women, children, right? Then they even further separate into
Once
gender.
again, Tracy.
But
Let's
never
let
once
Trace.
do
No, no, no.
they
Let's
claim
slow
a
down.
combatant
Trace, let's slow
or do
down.
they
1 second.
claim they're
Trace, Trace,
militant.
Trace, 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 Trace. I'm not gonna listen to this. We need to slow down. Okay? You're repeating talking points before you get into the thesis, which leads you to be ranting and saying nonsense. So let's start with the thesis. I agree that Hamas lies.
Hmm.
Cool. Everything you were going to say for the next maybe minute, 30 seconds to the minute, was going to be proving that point. We agree that Hamas lies.
Right.
Cool. I would appreciate if you stop trying to prove shit that I agree with you on.
So
We can talk. Let's move to what we maybe
do
disagree
you
on.
agree or not that the numbers are inflated and they're not legit?
Well, I agree with what the international community and
Right. And
international
do you agree that
independent.
the
Okay, Trace.
international community just repeats what Hamas told them? Yes or
No,
no?
that is so. That's not what happens.
Yes, it is. That's what they do. They are
Okay.
just parrots
What's
of
interesting
Hamas.
is you're not correct.
Okay.
So Reuters, a massive international organization, news organization, has actively disputed some of the numbers released by the health ministry under Palestine, and then they have, with the reporters that are being killed like Reuters reporters being killed by Israel in Gaza, independently verified some of those numbers. So the fun part here is, Trace, is I'm not going to engage as if we know nothing. That's what you want me to do. You want me to say, we don't know any numbers, we don't know anything that's happening here, so we should ignore it. Okay? What I'm going to do is say we have some information, so let's use the information we have. What I know is that Reuters, an independent organization, is reporting that their journalist died.
Yep.
Some co-workers at Reuters had to report on their dear friend and journalist being killed while at work in Gaza. I trust that.
I
And I
agree.
know that these reporters know where to go, where to be safe, and are internationally protected.
So
So
if
I know
they're
that
in a
that
war
was a war crime.
zone, they're at risk and they know that. They're in a war zone, they're
But
at
they
risk.
are also exempted.
They can't
They
be
are
exempted
also
from a bomb
safe.
being dropped if they're a block away. They're not exempt. They got to
Trace,
move.
they are. They
No,
are
they're
perfectly visible. No, no, no. Trace, they are perfectly visible. So here's the thing. Why are not as many children or women or reporters or international organizations dying in the Ukrainian war? Why are they not dying in Yemen? Why are they
because
not
they
dying in
can't go
Somalia?
to the front. They're not in the front line. They're not embedded. Civilians aren't there. They're fighting a regular war. These are terrorists. That's
You don't
why.
think that, wait, you don't think Russia terms Ukrainians terrorists? You don't think America terms the Houthis terrorists?
But the Ukrainian war is
why in our
not
fight
in
against
the
1 second,
city.
why in our fight
It's
against the
not in the
Taliban,
city.
1 second, why, what? Okay, why did not as many women and children die in Kabul in Afghanistan?
Because we were in there. We were
No,
there.
no, no, when we were fighting the Taliban, taking Kabul from the Taliban, why did not as many women and children die?
How many women and children died? I have no idea.
An order of magnitude fewer. Do you not
Okay.
think we were fighting a terrorist organization then?
They were they in Kabul? Were the Taliban in Kabul or out
Were
in the
the Taliban
mountains?
in Kabul?
They're out in the mountains and everything. They're not in town.
You don't think the Taliban were in Kabul?
Yes, but the majority of them are out fighting in the mountains and the suburbs and they're not in just in town.
Okay, I see what level of information we're working on here, Trace. I'll just answer, and because you don't know, I need you to just trust this.
Okay, I will.
Yes, the Taliban was in Kabul.
Yes, I do
But
know they were.
what we did was drastically different than what Israel's doing. Drastically, fundamentally different. And
What we do.
atrocities and war crimes and horrendous things happened in Kabul, happened in the invasion of Afghanistan, right? That I actively condemn. I'm against that war on terror. And it's the fact that I'm against that, and that this is order of magnitude worse for the civilians, that I am awestruck that anyone could look at this and think that it's acceptable.
Here's what I could
Okay.
say, though. You're right. It is terrible, but I could also tell you this: we lost. I don't think Israel is. They're not going to lose. It's going down. They're going to be wiped out. We lost because we have all these things we have to follow. And oh, you can't do this and you can't
Do
do
you think
that.
we followed international law in Afghanistan?
To a degree, yes, I do.
Okay. I mean,
There
America
was,
is the largest violator of international law of any individual organization in the world.
okay. Yes, but there are accounts where we knew that there were Taliban shooting and fighting, shooting at Americans. And when they get up to them, if they don't have any weapons on them and they just pretend like, I'm a citizen, that there's nothing we could do. The Australians would just kill them. Well, we couldn't, we wouldn't. And then we'd turn around and walk off. And 3 hours later, they were shooting at us again. Yes, we did follow certain things.
Okay.
Otherwise, we might have won.
So you just don't think we should have international law at all?
Not for terrorism, no.
Okay, okay, let's just stop it there.
Everything's all nullified.
What separates a terrorist organization from a state organization that is an enemy?
I would look up what the UN says it is. You
Okay,
trust the UN. I would trust what the
because
UN says.
what do you think the separation is?
Uh,
Because
uh,
you're saying citizens under a terrorist organization don't deserve rights. Citizens under an enemy government do. So if you're going to take away the rights of the 2 million Gazans simply because of the characteristics of their government, which I agree are horrendous,
and they voted.
you better tell me what make those characteristics worthy of denying human rights to these 2 million people, because that's what war crimes are.
Okay.
Right? They are violations. They are the most monstrous violations of human rights. So you are saying that simply because they have a terroristic government, one second, you are saying simply because they have a terroristic government, these people do not deserve human rights? So you better be able to tell me why. What makes it a terrorist organization rather than a state government that's enemy? What is the difference?
Okay, are you ready? Here's why. For one, their own government leaders has said that they are proud martyrs, that all Palestinians are proud martyrs, meaning they are there to die for jihad. Second of all, that they're purposefully martyrs. The children that are dying is tragic, and I blame their parents. Their parents are at fault. Get those children out of those freaking apartment buildings. Get them out.
To where?
Go where everybody else went. Go south
Where?
to the border. To the border crossing.
But they bombed the border crossing. They bombed Rafah.
They bombed the border crossing.
Yeah, they bombed Rafah.
But not the border crossing. No, they didn't.
They can't cross the border.
I know they can't. Egypt won't let them in.
So they bombed Rafah, the territory that you realize. So there's a line,
yes,
and then there's a square district, or there's a rectangular district of Rafah, right, where Israel's claiming it's safe, and they bombed in that district
because the terrorists are there. They're amongst the people.
No, Trace. So Trace,
the people harbor them.
Oh, okay, Trace. Then I'll ask you one more time. Where should they go?
They better move to wherever the Israelis tell them to move to. If they say get out,
they did. They went to the south, and then they bombed the south.
But they warn them and tell them to move from here. We're going to come and bomb this building.
The warning they sent was to go to the south, and then they bombed the south.
No, they warn those people that we're going to bomb this building. Get out, and they don't.
They give them what? What do they give? A 30-minute warning with the bops occasionally, right? But also, oftentimes, this is a much more complicated issue, Trace. So the thing is first of all, just because I warn you doesn't mean I can do something. If I warn you I'm going to rob you, doesn't mean I get to. But secondarily, a lot of the warnings they gave were like QR codes. You know what you need to use a QR code? Cellular, which they cut out, right? A phone, which you won't have, right? So this whole entire warning nonsense is incredible and insane. They didn't warn the refugee camp, right, that they bombed. They didn't warn them. They didn't warn the hospital, right?
Yes,
that they bombed by Rafah. They didn't warn them. They
Yes, they
destroyed 20
did.
hospitals. If you are on so Trace, if you are on life support in a hospital, does Israel sending a pamphlet help you?
So did they bomb a hospital and it's demolished to the ground?
They've bombed 20 hospitals to the point of either being defunct or totally destroyed.
They're
So I
defunct,
ask you, so
but
so Trace,
were
I'll
they
ask you,
flattened? Did they
Trace,
flatten those
they have
hospitals?
flattened at least 15 hospitals.
Were they clinics or were they the major hospitals?
They have flattened major hospitals.
Okay, which ones? I'm going to
I
look it
mean,
up.
I can get the names up for you. My computer's
Okay,
dead right now. But
because
you don't think they flattened major hospitals? Israel
no.
has agreed that they flattened major hospitals.
Which major hospitals?
Can we get the names up from someone? I'll let the chat do it because my computer's dead. Oh yeah, Indonesian hospital. They flattened.
Well, that one
Al
was a
Shafia
big.
hospital. They flattened.
That was a big terror. They are harboring terrorists
They
big
claimed it
time.
was. They claimed it was the UN. The UN's independent investigation found that there was little to no evidence of that.
Oh, I didn't realize the UN was in there. So the UN has.
Trace. Do you? So Trace, do you?
You're telling
Okay,
me the
we're gonna
UN
have to.
has been in there?
We're gonna have to start on just fundamentals. You are unilaterally accepting
You
what
are
the
telling
IDF
me
says.
the UN has been in there and seen that hospital and then said there were no terrorists in there?
That's not what saying there's no evidence means.
So what do you mean? Then what's the evidence that there wasn't terrorism out of that hospital?
No, what I said was there is no evidence there was terrorism.
So the UN went there and said, we don't see any terrorists or we see no signs of
Well,
terrorists.
the UN said that no independent investigator has found evidence for that.
So what independent investigators went in there?
Well, for example, the UN actually did have an active mission in that hospital through the UN RWA.
And were they in the hospital? I think
At
that
the time, the UN by and large was able to evacuate, right?
right. That's
But
why I'm
Trace,
saying,
once
wait a
again,
minute.
do you know what
Something's not making sense.
Trace? Do you know what an absence of something means?
Oh God.
Do I have to prove to you that there's an absence?
An absence of what?
Evidence?
Yes, I understand what you're saying. You said
Okay, then
absence by
Trace,
a
you're
by
actively
a
you're
by
getting
a
really
unbiased source, right? That someone went in there, investigated, and I asked you who they were. You said the UN, but yet they evacuated. So I want to know who
Trace.
is
What I
the
said was that
unbiased source that said
what I
there.
said was that no source found evidence.
And what sources were in there to look for the evidence?
What, bro? Okay. Trace,
What
the burden
sources
of
were
proof,
there?
bro. Trace. The burden of proof is on you. You made the claim.
I
Do you
didn't
understand
make
how
the
that
claim.
works?
The Israelis did, and we've seen video of it. So
Great.
where?
That's interesting. That's interesting. The Israeli video that they provided, right, was disputed and debunked by independent investigators.
What independent investigators? Name
So
them.
Amnesty International responded to it. Reuters directly responded to it. They had a special report on
You
it.
have a video of them showing evidence of terrorism in that Indonesian hospital?
Wait, so Trace, uh, Amnesty International has actively disputed that claim.
That there were no terror. They actively disputed, but what's their evidence? They don't have any evidence of it.
The evidence is that so they have aerial and satellite views of it. They show no evidence of active terrorist organizations. And then
Because
they looked
they're
at the evidence that
underground. What are you talking
Israel.
about?
So let's start from the basics. Do you trust what the IDF says?
I do.
Why?
I see video.
Okay. The IDF has been consistently caught lying. Even the US, right, has requested for corrections by the IDF. For
Which
example, the
which
claims in October
correction?
7th, right? For example, the claims on October 7th that babies were found beheaded. That has since been redacted because it was untrue.
But
Right?
there was a child beheaded, and that wasn't Israeli. That was a separate reporter, and as a matter of fact, she worked for like CBN. She was a Christian reporter, and she didn't say it that way. So if you've read all of it, how it was redacted, then you know. She said there were over 40 people and there was beheading, and they took it that there were
And
40 beheaded babies. Yeah.
yeah, and then the IDF as well as Israel as a whole on its media campaign pushed that idea.
So
So
other
when you
news agencies push that.
but no,
Other news
Trace,
agencies.
the IDF repeated and maintained the claim.
Oh my God. Oh my
Do you
God.
disagree that the IDF said it?
I am telling you that that was when they discovered that it was misspoken, that the repeating of what happened there was misspoke, right? You know that. You read about it. And so we know that you're telling me that the IDF lies all the time. Okay. So we know, everybody knows about the beheaded baby, the 40 beheaded babies.
So
That
when
was,
you repeat something that's false, that's a lie.
but right.
So the IDF lied.
So let me ask you this. So the beheaded baby thing,
One
and we
second, I
know
just
it's been,
Trace.
what
Trace, can I
else?
can you yeah, so
So
that's a
what
lie.
else? Because you asked me why I would believe them. So what else? That wasn't, they didn't come out and report 40 babies were beheaded. Someone else reported it first. Yes, it was repeated. So let's move on. What's the next thing?
Wait, so you agree that that was a lie?
That was not true. There were not 40 babies beheaded. There was a
And
baby.
so and Trace, you're just to be clear, you're hearing the words I'm saying, right?
Yes. What did I
Okay, so
just,
when I ask you the question, was that a lie? Can you answer it?
I don't think it was a deliberate lie ever. It wasn't a deliberate lie. It was
I
misquoted.
appreciate you
So
answering.
no.
If we're not going to admit that them saying something that they knew was unsubstantiated and that they said is a lie, we can move on.
Let's
Okay.
move.
Okay, great. The calendar of terrorists as evidence within, I believe it was a hospital that they showed, right? That has been showed clearly to be a fabrication, right?
That's not,
Reuters did a special report on this actually, showing that it was a fabrication.
so they said this is a calendar, right? And they said these are the names written here. And if you look, and yes, they did investigate, there are names on it. It's highlighted only the days in which the hostages were held there, beginning October 7th. And yes, it said the days of the week. So I'm looking for the lie.
The lie was that it showed evidence of terrorists working there.
Why is there a calendar in the bottom of a hospital basement with October 7th and highlighted
Well,
days?
what we're saying is that it was a fabrication.
It's not a fabrication. That was
I mean,
there.
okay, I'm just saying that international reporting showed that it was. So what I'm saying is that the thrust of evidence,
What?
Trace,
So
the
tell me,
thrust of evidence, the
stop
thrust
saying
of
trace
evidence,
trade. What is the international that said it's not? Tell me.
Reuters, brother, I already told you. Did you hear me?
Okay, so you're saying Reuters disputed the calendar.
I'm saying there is a pattern, right? Of
No,
of
okay, I'm going to look it up. I'm going to look to see if Reuters have
look
disputed
actually.
the
So if you
calendar.
want the full list, look up Amnesty International list
No, I'm not going to
of
look up that. Give me another thing. Give me another
look
thing
up.
of what
You're not going to look. Okay, the best is my point is right. Is
I'm going to
that
look at each thing you
literally every
tell
Trace?
me.
Okay,
I'm going to look up what you tell me because you're telling me how stupid I am. So I'm going to make
I
sure
didn't.
that
I
you're
never said
telling
you were
me the
stupid,
right thing.
Trace.
I'm going to check what you say.
Trace, I never said you were stupid.
Let's go. Keep going. Tell me
Trace,
something
I
else.
don't appreciate being lied on. I never said you were stupid.
It's your tone and your demeanor. You've clearly stated that I don't have my information right. You've said that to me 3 or 4 times. So I'm just going to look up and check that. So, why do you trust the numbers that you get from UN and all the other people that come from Hamas, their government? Why do you trust those numbers of the civilian casualties?
Yeah.
They
So
lie.
trust isn't binary.
Well, they lie. You just threw this at me that IDF lies. Well,
So do you
so
want
do
an
Hamas.
answer?
So why would you trust any of that?
Well, I have to have some view on some facts, right?
Okay,
So I have to believe something to some extent.
exactly. And I
Okay.
choose to go with video.
But you
I
can't
choose to
video
go with
everything,
11,000
right?
rockets that I see leaving Gaza
Yeah.
almost on a
So
daily basis.
you have a video of 11,000 rockets?
choose to see Hamas combatants firing at tanks inside Gaza. I choose
Wait,
to see the
Trace,
AKs they have.
Trace, stop
I
speaking.
choose to
One
see
second.
those terrorists in
Okay. I wonder if she can figure it out. It is always kind of funny to see boomers try and figure out how to unmute themselves. What I was saying, Trace, right, was you don't need to. I want to have a productive two-way discussion with you. You going on soliloquies doesn't help that.
okay.
Okay? Do
Let's
you think that after the second sentence that you said, I cared at all about what you were saying? Your point was made,
okay.
right? And you didn't need 10 examples to make it. Do you understand how what you're doing is like entirely self-indulgent and totally unhelpful?
Okay. It's I know
Okay.
it seems that way to you because you don't want to hear those pieces of it. You want to just only go by what you know. So you want to call out that I'm going to trust the IDF when they lie, and I'm asking you, and you're going to trust the Hamas government on their numbers. It's the same thing, dude. You're
I
just
never
making
said
this
that I
about
trusted the
it.
Hamas government on their numbers. I actually said that they were liars.
Yes, but you quote and just told me you have to go on something. You have to have trust in something.
Yeah, so what? So, but did I get to the end of that point?
I'm waiting.
But you're not because you interrupted and went on a long monologue. So you're not waiting.
Let's go to the end. You have to trust in something.
You have to trust in something. So facts are difficult to come around. That's true. But there are some organizations, right, that can independently report and independently view the facts that are being shown, right? And for example, Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, independent reports by Reuters, independent reports by the New York Times, right? There are lots and lots of media organizations, and when they report something, right, and when they provide their own independent investigations, which, by the way, I do point to Reuters quite a lot because they have feet on the ground, right? They have reporters on the ground in Gaza. They have reporters on the ground in Lebanon. They have reporters on the ground in the West Bank. When they report something, I trust them by and large. Because yes, they are quoting sometimes Hamas numbers, right? But they're only doing that when either their independent reporting concurs with it or they have reason to trust it beyond that, right? Or they'll cite it as this is a Hamas number, right? So that you give the relevant weight to it, right? So things are difficult
So Reuters
to
either
come about.
reports Hamas numbers and says it's Hamas numbers, or they report their own numbers based on what they've seen.
Well, the truth is,
That's
is
what I'm
is an
asking.
approximate. The
And
truth is
you
an
clarify
approximation
that.
of claims. What they'll typically say is these are Hamas numbers. We think they're inflated by this because of this, right? And they reduce it. But reporters aren't going and counting the deaths, right?
No,
That's
because
not what's happening.
exactly. So none of the numbers are completely
Okay,
accurate.
so Trace, if you just don't want to believe anything, we can't discuss. Do you see how that
Okay.
works?
I appreciate it. Thank you.
It's just a useless view. Okay. Okay. Um, yeah, that's the thing. It's like this is a very, very classic Zionist tactic. Is we can't believe anything, so we just shouldn't talk about it. We can't believe anything, so we should trust the liars that are the IDF, right? Now I will say it. As a great commenter said, well, you can't fix stupid, and you can't fix stupid. Anyway, I will say this. Thank you so much to the 900 people on this live. I'm very happy that we got a good live going. I'm going to be uploading this on YouTube, so if you want to go follow my YouTube, TikTok does not like me. So that'd be great. Will, why don't you go to Gaza as a reporter? Well, fun fact, I'm not a reporter, so that's why I won't go to Gaza as a reporter. And I also kind of value my life. Um, and so I also don't want to go there. But the people that are there are amazing. They're doing great work. So yeah, thank you so much. For everyone who sends a guest request, send a guest request down here. That would be great. Um, and only if you disagree with me. If you don't disagree with me, don't send a guest request. See how that works? Yeah, thank you so much for everyone sending gifts. That boosts the live quite a lot. And thank you if you don't follow me already. I am in law school. Yes, I am.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, I'm just reading. I can't read that. And the U.S. military thing. Okay. I was gonna say, what's the stuff we're doing in Gaza that's so heinous?
The use of white phosphorus, for example, the unaliving of UN workers, the unaliving of reporters,
I
the
saw.
unaliving of women and children, and the consistently receding evacuation line and the bombing of places beyond the evacuation line, the illegal occupation, all of those.
That's war.
Your
War's war.
war isn't
War's
just, and
ugly.
also it
War's
isn't
ugly.
war. We have
War's
rules on
ugly.
war. We have rules on war, and you're violating them. So.
No, this is war. First of all, Israel didn't sign this thing about white phosphorus, and second of all, there's no evidence of white
First
phosphorus
of all,
being.
Israel did actually. It was a UN resolution.
No, it was the I forgot the exact name, but Israel didn't sign for not using white phosphorus. Anyways, there's no evidence that we're using white phosphorus.
I
It's
mean, they are.
a
It was internationally reported by the UN and by Amnesty. So
okay. I didn't see. I'm gonna look into it. But what was I
don't
gonna
make a
say?
claim about things you don't know.
No, that's why I said I'm gonna look into it.
Then don't make a claim. Yeah, you said there's no evidence. There is.
Yeah, I'd like to see it. I'll look into it, and then I can get back to it.
Look
Uh,
into it first. Don't spread lies.
okay, I'll look into it. What was I gonna say? First of all, the U.S. is the ally with Israel. They got Israel got attacked, and Israel has the right to defend. And you may not like the way Israel's defending itself, but looks like that's the problem with the way you look at it.
So, from my view, first of all, if Israel signs treaties and international obligations to follow international law, it has an obligation to follow international law, and it does. So it can't bomb hospitals. It can't unalive women and children. It can't take
One second.
hostages. What?
What law is it that you're not allowed to bomb hospitals?
What? That's very clearly
No,
stated.
not if no, no, I'm saying that you're allowed to not you're not allowed to bomb hospitals if it's just a hospital, but if it's used for terrorism, you're allowed to bomb it under
Well, you need to
international law.
prove that it was used for terrorism, which the UN has
Okay, Israel,
once
Israel
again.
can, I mean, Israel might
You
not show
can't just.
you.
But no, the thing
No,
is
Israel
that
might not show you the evidence, but they'll
they
show
haven't shown
the
anyone it.
people that are important because of they're not going to unclassify some information that they got to they have it the way that they what's the best way to say it? They have ways to find out which is
But no, the
classified. They're
thing
not going to
is
show it to you and me.
they've
They will
shown
show
their
it to the
evidence.
United States and to the people that's
Sorry,
most important.
I'm gonna talk now. They showed their evidence to the people that mattered, and the people that mattered said that it wasn't sufficient.
Who did they show it to that
To the
second?
UN, they
The
made this
UN doesn't
claim to the
matter.
UN.
The UN doesn't matter to me. United States is the country. You're saying the United States and the United States.
So,
The
so
UN. 1 second. The UN made an article about Hamas uses hospitals and schools for military stuff. The
they
UN
showed
made
that
an
no,
article.
the UN denied
Yeah,
their defense of the.
that's
Okay,
a UN article a few years ago. I can bring it up for you. And
I don't doubt.
UN made an article of Hamas using them as human shields, the hospitals.
I don't doubt that at some point Hamas has used some human shields. The point is that it's not
No,
been
because they
Sorry,
constantly
okay.
use the UN school. They use schools and hospitals for human shields. They say that that's what's in the article. I can
Did
make it
you
up for you.
not think I heard you the first three times you said it?
Okay, no, you're making it sound like they want to use the hospitals. No, they're still using it. And
Is that
United
what I said?
States,
What did I actually
which
say?
is you said they might have done used it sometimes, and I don't doubt it. You said you don't doubt it. Use
Yes.
sometimes the hospitals. Okay, that's the United. That was the UN. UN made an article about it. And first of all, for me, the UN doesn't make.
So wait,
I
sorry,
don't
who
take
made
the
an
UN as a
article?
source. I don't take the UN as a source, so it doesn't make a big difference for me. But no, I can
Who said it?
explain you plenty of reasons. The UN is corrupted in in hundreds of ways. Like let's say Israel's doing bad stuff. Like the
Bro,
United.
just try and have a discussion. Okay.
Let's say Israel's doing.
This
Let,
isn't how it's happening. No. 1 second. When you make a claim that they're using it as terrorists, okay, you need to prove it because that's how defense works. If I unalive someone, right, and then claim it was self-defense, it's on me to prove that it was self-defense. That's how it works here as well. If I break an international law, I bomb a refugee camp, for example, I bomb a hospital, I bomb residential areas, then it's on me to prove that terrorists were there. And basically every international organization, Amnesty, Human Rights Watch, the UN, right, even American diplomats, have not been shown sufficient evidence to justify that there were terrorists in that area. So until then, I'm going to say it's a war crime. And we're just going
Okay,
to
so
disagree on that because you
no,
blindly
okay.
followed
So
the IDF
let's
and their
so let's
claims,
say so
but
what
I
so
don't.
don't you have the thing guilty to proven innocent or proven guilty? So
Wait,
Israel
so
hasn't
they,
been
so sorry,
No,
you
no, no, no,
are,
no.
so that's
Okay,
how
no, one
defenses
second.
work. That's how
Okay, so
defenses work.
Israel
You
hasn't
are
been
guilty until you prove the defense.
okay. Israel they haven't had a court case, so they're innocent. There hasn't been
No, 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 no.
there hasn't been a UN court case for it to be. They're still innocent because of the UN hasn't yet done a UN hasn't done
You,
a.
oh, sorry, no. So when we're talking, right, they aren't like legally guilty, right? When we're talking, and when we're talking about what we think they did, how it works is if you do something that is obviously in violation of the law, it is on you to prove your defense. That's just how laws work. That's how defenses
No,
work.
after the law comes to get you.
So,
When
okay,
the
like
law
obviously, if I unalive someone and I haven't yet been put through a court case, someone can be mad at me for unaliving them. Like,
they can't
obviously,
no they
war
can
crimes
be mad.
exist prior
They
to the
can be.
ICC.
No,
Are
fair
you just
enough, fair
saying
enough.
that if the
But
ICC
anyways,
doesn't prosecute, they didn't do anything wrong?
no, until the
Because
ICC,
the
I'm
ICC
not.
so has Hamas committed war crimes,
Hamas, yes.
but they haven't been prosecuted yet.
Okay, they're being prosecuted by Israel.
They're being okay, but Israel's being prosecuted currently by the ICJ, actually, by
Okay,
the
so
actual organization that matters. But also, that's not how
wait for them to
prosecutions work.
finish.
What? Also, Hamas isn't being prosecuted by Israel. What are you talking about, bro?
Yeah.
Also, Israel's being, if in that case, Israel's being prosecuted by Hamas. Like it's just a circular thing. This isn't how this works. Obviously,
Okay, but Hamas is not whatever they're doing. Actually they're not prosecuting them. They're just killing them without persecution. But okay.
I mean,
I mean,
Iran has clearly alleged Israel's. It's just an allegation right now on this
no,
point.
they've
But my
led.
point
They
is
haven't
who has
prosecuted.
jurisdiction? The ICC has jurisdiction over this area.
No, I'm saying the Israel actually prosecutes a lot of terrorists. Hamas doesn't
Not for
prosecute them.
war
But still.
crimes, though. You don't prosecute people for war crimes domestically.
No, fair enough. But the main thing is,
So
you said
has
you
so
got
has
the
Hamas
US.
committed war crimes?
Yes.
So has Israel committed war crimes?
No.
Okay, but it doesn't matter that the ICC hasn't prosecuted yet.
No. In my opinion, Hamas has committed war crime. I mean, there's plenty of evidence of them committing the war crimes. And the main thing is that you're saying the U.S. should stop the military funding. The U.S. has seen the evidence and has accepted the
And
evidence.
found it unacceptable. U.S. diplomats have publicly stated that they have not been provided sufficient evidence to justify that they were terrorists there. And
Which
independent
hospital?
U.S.
Which
media
hospital are you
agencies,
referring
sorry,
to?
independent U.S. Media agencies have said this, right?
Which hospital? Which hospital are you referring to?
Reuters, an international organization that has headquarters in the U.S., has stated that there is not sufficient evidence to believe that there are terrorist organizations there.
1 second. Which hospital are you referring to? So we could
The
take
Indonesian hospital.
Indonesian. Let me just search up the name. 1 second.
Thank you so much for everyone sending gifts. Thank you so much for everyone following and sharing the live. I want to get more eyes and ears on the issue. So thank you so much. I can't see or hear you while you're out here, so I would appreciate if you just like show back up.
No, I'm just
There we
looking at the
are.
hospital.
Obviamente.
I don't know what the jingle in the background was, and I kind of find that annoying. I also think he was about to troll. He was going to find something. That was my difficulty because there was the sound, which was that, which I didn't appreciate. But let's see if this. Let's see if they load. They don't seem to be loading. Okay. Also, I am kind of off my game today right now. Just because I'm still like in like absolute like utter tired mode. So excuse me if I'm kind of like a little bit like. Ugh. Hello.
How's it going?
Going real well. What'd you send a guest request to disagree on?
Well, the problem is the belief that the IDF is in the wrong is kind of ridiculous. Also, understand that the United States services have been on the ground since October 9th in Israel.
In Israel? No, they
Yes,
haven't.
yes, they have. Special forces have been clearing the tunnels in Israel since the 9th of October.
I mean, they
That's a
haven't.
reality. They have.
Okay, can you give me a source for that?
Yeah. Actually, Department of Interior.
The Department of the Interior? Do you know what the Department of the Interior does?
Yes.
What does the Department of the Interior do?
Well, that would be the BIA, which is what I work for.
BIA, which stands for what? Sorry.
Uh, it's the Bureau of Indian Authority.
Affairs.
It's who deals with foreign problems with other cultures to this day.
The BIA, the Bureau of Indian Affairs, is what you're
Yeah,
talking about?
that's who I've worked for. Yes, you
You
have
worked
to.
there and you don't know the name of it?
Well, it's authority today.
Oh,
It's
Bureau of
no
Indian
longer
Authority
affairs.
in the okay, authority in the interior. Wonderful. And why would that be relevant to
Well, because we have to deal with terrorists, the NTAS, the USCIS, and all these organizations that are working within Gaza to try to clear out the hostages of Hamas are a real thing. You don't know that?
so the
We've been
US
working on
US's
this
official
thing.
position is that we have no grounds on the troop, but we have no troops on the ground on this current date.
The Navy
They
is
have
not.
repeated they have to repeat
Stop what you're saying. The Navy is not boots. I'm going to repeat that to you again. The Navy are not considered boots on the ground.
the Navy. You think we have the Navy within Israel right now?
Your Navy SEALs are in Israel currently since October 9th.
Okay. Who said this?
It's been well known.
I go charge my computer just so I can check this. Oh, oh, my charger's right there. Let's see if we can charge my computer to check this. It's well known by who?
Most of this is common knowledge that the SEAL, not only the SEALs, but the British Special Services have also been there working with IDF. Also has 20 other countries working with IDF to clear out civilians from the hostage situation.
1 second. I need to charge my computer.
So that's an issue that you don't know that. But
I don't
maybe
think it's an issue.
do some searching and see reality that most countries are standing with the IDF, with Israel, and even in America, most companies and corporations are to fire people that support the movement of the PLO,
The
including
movement to the PLO?
20,000 humans that were fired from Amazon for supporting the PLO in America. Also, the Hate Crimes Act of October 21st that was passed says that supporting Hamas is a hate crime. Just so you
Yeah,
know.
so I don't support
I'm
Hamas.
going to drop down. It's your future you have to deal with, and your job opportunities in the future you have to deal with
I
by
don't
supporting
support Hamas, and also
Hamas.
you're not going to browbeat me into this
Well,
issue.
that is a reality most of you kids are going to have to deal with later. I'm going to drop down.
No, why is this on? Yeah, he's literally just threatening me, but also I don't really care. Yep. Dinner? Slay. Oh, okay. I'm going to go eat dinner. I'll be back at some point. But just like a few really, really quick things. I don't care. Being allies to people and being supportive of international, of like cross cultural and intersectional issues will get me 10 times more jobs, 10 times more, opportunities in the future than ever submitting to the imperial like state. I'm not really concerned. Um, being a kind, empathetic person and not being an evil, horrendous supporter of criminals will always get you more friends than it loses you. And if doing the other thing would gain me friends, then I don't want to be friends with them. So that's how you should generally view the browbeating that we look into. So I love you all dearly. He was utterly lying. We don't have troops on the ground. So that's that. We do have sent billions of dollars there. But yeah. Okay, I gotta go. But yeah, literally, mommy is training for dinner. I'm back for vacation, everyone. So I'm getting home meals. Hell yes. Okay. Bye bye. Thank you so much for everyone who followed. Thank you so much for everyone who sent gifts. Um, and thank you so much for everyone who goes and follows my YouTube. All right. Peace out.